Hey everyone, it's Bennett, your fantasy football commissioner, with the Week 5 fantasy football recap. Before I get into the recap, just want to vent a little bit. Just if nobody could figure it out, I'm super effing pissed about the Braves last week. I knew with a one-game playoff there was a good chance they could just lose a game and be out of the playoffs, but it's just so infuriating and embarrassing when you're, future Hall of Famer, retiring superstar, trying to go out, into the sunset as a winner, makes the key error, the first of three errors in the game, and just totally set the tone for the whole game. And the Braves ultimately lost. I don't know how many of you guys follow baseball, but the Braves made three errors, and then in the seventh inning got the worst call probably that I've ever seen, literally in the history of baseball, called against them, which was really just adding insult to injury at that point of the game because they had already pretty much screwed themselves out of the win with the errors and whatnot. But and so obviously that just infuriated me and just added in salt in the wounds of the Braves, which I already knew were pretty much going to lose. So I'm super pissed, but I'm slowly but surely getting over it, and of course Football Sunday helps with that a lot. So without further ado, let's get into the Week 5 recap. Not too many close games. As a matter of fact, only one real close game. You got beat by a girl, moves to 5-0, beating third and Oolong, 141-136 by. So obviously a 5-point lead, very slim. Luckily, Sarah got 0 points from Ben Tate Monday night. Luckily, she had a 5-point lead and didn't need any points. But I don't even think Ben Tate played. So, a little bit more lucky than good. Only scoring 141 points and getting the win, but a win nonetheless for Sarah. And she moves to 5-0 and leading the Mish division. Third and Oolong falls to 2-3 in the very tight Mash division. Let's see, what other games? In the battle of 0-4s, no one was going to go winless, or at least only one team was at the most was going to go winless because we had two 0-4 teams playing each other. The Travelers get a pretty impressive 152-116 win over the Cartel. We do have a trade to talk about. The Cartel, as many of you know, missed the draft and has been struggling mightily at quarterback all year. And actually has done a little bit better than expected, but just completed a trade with the Slim Aussies. The Slim Aussies trade Michael Vick to the Cartel for Marshawn Lynch. So the Cartel gets some much-needed quarterback help. Although Vick has been inconsistent this year, still has a lot of potential for a lot of points. And the Slim Aussies, not totally terrible with running backs, but definitely needed some depth. So the Slim Aussies get Marshawn Lynch. So hopefully a good trade for both teams. And our first trade of the year, again, don't be afraid to propose trades to other league members. I know not everyone knows each other, but who cares? Just if you have a need on your team and you can't find it on the waiver wire, make a trade with somebody. No harm in doing that. So that is our first trade of the season, Lynch for Vick. And on a personal note, it just makes it so I don't have to root for the Eagles anymore because I hate the Eagles, and I hated having Vick on my team. But fantasy, trumps reality in terms of hate. So at least now I don't have to worry about rooting for Vick anymore or the Eagles. And back to the game. 32 points from old Alex Smith for the Travelers really set the tone. Victor Cruz had 28 points for the Giants, and the Bears defense, once again, 2 weeks in a row, had a big day. They had 27 points, so nice solid effort there. And Cartel unfortunately moved to 0-5, but hopefully for them, with their new quarterback, we'll see better days ahead in the future. So, what else do we have? We have three more games. We have the CT Calvinators defeating Idaho Darth Taters 156-117. Real disappointing week for the Darth Taters. I believe they scored like tons of points the week before, but only 117 this week. Tom Brady had a decent day. Incidentally, I was actually at the game. A colleague of mine had a pair of tickets for the Broncos Patriots game. And I invited my cousins. Unfortunately, my cousins weren't able to go, so they missed out. Sorry you guys couldn't come with me, but I ended up having a good time. I sold my second ticket and went by myself and went to a pro football game, which is always exciting. I've only been to a couple of those in my life, and it wasn't the greatest game in spite of the quarterback matchup. It was fun to watch Tom Brady and the Patriots offense just methodical all game. I mean, just unbelievable how methodical. That's the only word I can think of. They're just so freaking good, and it really wasn't a close game. It was pretty much a blowout the whole game. So the Darth Taters, again, real disappointing, even with Stephen Ridley and Tom Brady. Adrian Peterson only with 12 points. Danny Amendola got hurt, so he only gets 5 points, and just a lot of single-digit scores for Darth Taters. And in spite of Cam Newton's terrible game, the Calvinators get a win. Matt Ryan with 20 points. Demaryius Thomas had 26 points. Of course, he had a fumble in that game, but in this case didn't hurt the Calvinators. And 32 points from Tony Gonzalez. So, nice solid 156 points for the Calvinators. They go to 3-2. The Darth Taters fall to 3-2. Again, the MASH division's very tight. Two other games. We have Ray Finkel's Kicking Academy getting tons of points, 193 to 124 over the Lionesses. Lionesses continue to be up and down. They are 3-2. And Ray Finkel's Kicking Academy also 3-2. So, very up and down season for the Lionesses. She had less than 100 one week, only 124 this week. Mark Ingram, a disappointing 1 point. Jackie Battle, 1 point. Three key players on buys. So Darren McFadden, Des Bryant, Matthew Stafford. So the Lionesses definitely suffering the bye week blues this week. But Ray Finkel's Kicking Academy, 33 points from Breeze, 23 from Eli, 23 Trent Richardson, 25 Ryan Matthews, and 42 from Reggie Wayne. So even though Andre Johnson only had 1 catch, just a lot of studs for the week for the Kicking Academy. They get 193 points, and they get a nice, easy win there. And then the final game was my game. The Spring Street Stallions probably had their best game of the year. Marquez Colston, Sunday night, just had an amazing game with 41 points. Peyton Manning, even though his team lost, he did get 27 points. Arian Foster had a good game. Didn't really need him in the second half, but he got his points mostly in the first half against the Jets. So just a nice, really, really impressive game for the Spring Street Stallions, 177 points. My team disappointing. Michael Vick and Andy Dalton only getting 14 and 12 points. Ryan Williams, that turned out to be a bust pickup for the Cardinals. He's done nothing, and now he's out for the year. So I'm definitely, again, hurting for running backs. So definitely excited to have Marshawn Lynch on my team moving forward. Brandon Marshall and Percy Harvin's 30-plus point days went to waste a little bit. A solid 148 points, but not enough to defeat the Stallions. So the Stallions move to 3-2, and the Aussies fall to 2-3. So let's take a quick look at the standings. Like I said, the MASH division, very, very tight. We have 4 teams, I believe. Come on, computer. There we go. 4 teams at 3-2, led by the Calvinators, and follow it up by, well, I guess the only team that's not 3-2 is Third and Oolong with 2-3. The Mish division, a lot different. You have the only undefeated team. You got beat by a girl at the top with her husband, Matt, second place, 3-2. The Slim Aussies have had a little bit of tough luck here going to 2-3. And again, the Travelers getting their first win with the Cartel at the bottom. So like every year in fantasy, I mean, you can't play defense. All you can do is put the most points out. Not that I'm whining, but just for an example, the Slim Aussies have the second highest point total in the league, but also have the second highest points against for the year. So that's why I'm 2-3. But again, no whining here. Meanwhile, though, and You Got Beat by a Girl has, let's see, the second, third, fourth, fourth highest. So in the upper half of the league for points, but yet is 5-0. So. A lot of it has to do with being consistent and some teams get a lot of points because they have a lot of good weeks, but then they have a lot of bad weeks. So points against is something that no one can control. But like I said, we have a tight MASH division. We have a somewhat top-heavy Mish division, but a long way to go. Still have 9 games left in the season, and so plenty of time to keep going. Don't forget about the Thursday night games. Don't forget about your bye weeks. Don't forget to check the injury reports, all that good stuff. And, of course, send your money, if you haven't already, to 4 Adams Lane, West Hartford, Connecticut, 06117. Running late, running long here, so I'm going to go now. But good luck in Week 6, and have fun, everyone. Have a good week.